Hello and welcome to the Raw Preview. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by Michael Hamflett to discuss everything that's in store for us on tonight's show. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts and preview and review Raw, Smackdown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, Dynamite, Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have wrestler interviews on occasion, roundtable discussions, question and answer time. And we host, not this week, but most weeks, a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on wrestle culture. Hamflett?
Yeah, because it's not Alex Abraham, it's Monday Night Raw, Sidge, and it's the...
What's worse to me?
And this is for Wilborn. It's the Crown Jewel Go-Home show.
Ugh.
I know, that's it. You can't really I just want to get across it for the bullet point because he likes what he likes. But
Bit of SEO.
Yeah. The thing is, with these 2-hour Raws, the go-home show matches or whatever was set off the basis of what's to come at the PLE would also feature the wrestlers in, say, angles or plot developments. But there is nothing advertised for example, Gunther versus Cody or Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed, because those matches are good to go. They're ready-made. So we're using Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins as a jumping-off point. Can you see anything more for them to do as like a sort of... And if you think this was wild, you better be there Saturday because it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, they've did a speed run of the Bronson Reed program, which essentially is... He'll get you at the start of the show and keep getting you until the end of the night, until an irate Adam Pearce comes to intervene. Now, they've done that, and they've almost hung a lantern on it by having him say, look, you've got the match, I want the match, just stop fighting. Mm-hmm. Please stop fighting. Here's a little hint as to how these things go. Who initiated the last sort of...
Oh, that was it Seth Rollins jumping Bronson with the suitcase when they were doing the fancy down arrivals at the building?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Seth Rollins. And then after that, they were fighting all night.
That's Bronson Reed's turn then.
That makes all the sense in the world to me.
Right. So we've done a tsunami off a car.
Yeah.
We've done the tsunami through the table.
Mm-hmm.
What can we put Seth Rollins through or on top of?
Could we do that thing where they agree to sign a contract tonight or something like that, even though the match is already made? I don't know. And you put the table in the middle of the ring, but then there is a diagonal line of security because 2 lines, like 20 security guards, whatever, with a table in the middle so that like Bronson Reed can go to his end of the table.
On. So how's that work then?
So the table sort of divides the 2 lines of security.
So table,
yeah,
security line either side.
2 pens on the table. Kip Sabian would love it. And each man can only access their pen to sign their bit of the contract. And there's absolutely no way you get into this wall of security. But sure enough, check this twist. They do, right? And the brawl is on. And then like Seth Rollins finds himself lying on top of a pile of bodies. It's a total dog pile in there. And then Bronson Reed just jumps, does a tsunami. Seth rolls off the top of the pile and just it was like a ball pool at a soft play. Bronson Reed just tsunamis, I don't know, 10 guys, something like that. And the remaining people are able to just part ways.
10 guys tsunami. Don't hate that.
10 guys tsunami, there you go. Like the sort of spot version of that time that Wardlow was in that match graphic against 15 security guards, and it's
20 plaintiffs it was.
20, I kind of love that. It didn't work in execution.
It didn't work. I like the idea.
Yeah.
I like a big swing me.
Yeah, and this is that.
Sometimes.
Has that not been like Bronson Reed's entire push? We'll try a big swing every week and see if it takes.
It always does.
And it's it's got to be home runs every week, otherwise he sucks.
Yeah.
The sort of the cliff edge
pressure,
is
I know.
every single Monday.
If they don't do that, and guess what, they won't. They could do a mirror of the angle that kicked it all off. Mm-hmm. And there's a big brawl around this arena, backstage area, ends up in the ring. Bronson Reed goes for a tsunami, belly flops, and oh no, that allows Seth Rollins to do how many curb stomps was it?
Oh, how many tsunamis originally?
Was it 6?
6, I think.
Right, okay. If it's 6, let's say it's 6 for the sake of
it was 5 or
this.
6, yeah.
Let's just say it was 6. Let's just say it was 6. Seth Rollins can do 6 curb stomps, and then the film critics, the cinema enthusiasts can go like this with the lift up their glasses, wipe their eyes, and like do a frame by frame comparison, and say on their stupid little engagement accounts something to the effect of, God, he's cooking. Not since the works of David Lynch have we seen such a wonderful exploration of duality.
I love it, and it has reminded me. Did you see over the weekend? You might have been tagged in it, but I bookmarked it just in case, and I'll show you after. You know how you can do...
I've seen it. The Red Room ring
class.
From Twin Peaks.
They're like, I don't know how these people do this, because we look at like the Dynamite one that's like, oh, what's the point in an AW game? You've made 2024 Dynamite with the best roster and all that. Yeah. And they've just made a Twin Peaks one that just looks stunning.
You know when you like...
Bob wasn't amazing. That was the one thing that struck me.
Yeah.
The room was incredible. The ring with the stripy pattern on, perfect. The curtain, like, made it almost a little bit Manhattan Center Raw.
Yes.
But it was the red velvet curtain. And then Bob in the ring.
Didn't really work.
Yeah.
You know how when you're like, you're 13, you're 14... You start doing E-Feds and you create your own characters and you get to 15 and 16 and maybe just leave that alone. 39, and every now and then I think if I was a wrestler, I would come out to, you've seen Fire Walk with Me, right?
Yeah.
No spoilers if you haven't watched Twin Peaks yet. What are you doing with your life?
Was it like 1992? Fire Walk with Me?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. The statute of limitations have probably expired on that. I would come out to the Pink Room. You know, that really sort of nasty, bad-lamenty guitar. I would come out to that, strobe lights, like dry ice machine, fog machines or whatever they're called.
Nice.
And that would just be, and I'd be called, I don't know. I just have a name, but it would be like...
Darkness Jones
over here. Doppelganger Jones. Doppelganger Jones comes out, I would wholesale rip it off.
Doppelganger Jones versus Mike Hawk, and we could have our two characters finally come face to face. Mine would still be, we've discussed this before, Return of the Saint, because I was thinking the Alan Partridge scene where he's playing it, and it looks like the most fun song. Like Mike Hawk, Mike Hawk's going to take one hell of a beating, but he's up for it.
He always gets back up.
He does. That's Mike Hawk.
And he's quite hard as well.
Yeah. I've said all these things. The only other thing from Crown Jewel that we might need to address, but like... Realistically, the story's peaked. Like Cody and Gunther on SmackDown was good stuff.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
There's nothing they're going to touch with that tonight, do you think?
Well, they've got the tags set up for SmackDown.
Yeah.
Could TK it and have, bear with me because I know it's on your notes, Cody goes over Ludwig Kaiser, but Ludwig Kaiser's already in action.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice segue to that. Because we've got Ludwig Kaiser returning from injury. Obviously, he returned to help Gunther on SmackDown, but then they're working a tag, which is on the tape, but this is WWE trying to work around that. He makes his return to singles competition tonight against Sheamus. They were in the middle of quite a nice little,
decent fooed.
Angry match fooed before he got injured.
Bit of a mid-card fooed.
He's back tonight. He's going to win, Ludwig Kaiser, isn't he? You would think. Sheamus has sort of just been put on pause until Kaiser's gotten better, which doesn't bode well.
Well, hang on. Ludwig Kaiser defeats Sheamus tonight.
Yeah.
And he might pin Cody Rhodes on Friday. I love being like this on WWE for once. He should do it more often.
I didn't even think about it like that. You're so right. Look, this is not great Raw on paper. I have no motive to lie to you. It'll be better on the night than I think this card looks. And I say that because...
Where's it emanating from?
I will check that.
In the meantime, I will talk a little bit about Ludwig Kaiser and his ceiling. I think it's quite low.
It's from same place Halloween Havoc was last night, Sid, in Hershey Park, Pennsylvania. It's the Giant Cack Center.
The Giant Cack Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Go to Hershey, get your novelty Hershey's Kisses chocolates, get your novelty Giant Cacks.
Get your novelty Giant Cacks.
That's what you go to Hershey's for. Hershey's Kisses and your Giant Cacks. So, look, it'll be a hot-ass crowd. Like, it was hot for Halloween Havoc, and the show gave him no right to be. So I have no doubt that Raw will be hot tonight. Review coming later, wherever you get your podcasts. But I say all that because it's Zelina Vega versus Ivy Nile, right? And the women's division on SmackDown.
That's pitiful.
Yeah, the women's division on SmackDown, I feel, is like...
What is this, collision?
Showing signs of life of late, but almost from week one. In fact, I think it was week one of the 2 hour era when executive producer Paul Levesque was like, I got just the plan. 10-woman tag. 2.5 minutes. See you later, gals. Yeah. And it's not shown signs of life ever since, but this is basically the mascot version, which is what Ivy Nile and Zelina Vega have been sort of consigned to be in for the LWO and American Made. This is their version of the match from last week where you had the tags, like the creeds are now moving into the feud with the LWO. Like, Ivy Nile's probably got a win because she kind of needs it more. Are they using this as a way to keep American Made winning? Because they kind of, when it's the creeds and when it's Chad, they sort of lose quite a bit.
Yeah.
Is this the way to just buy them some wins?
To be honest, I don't know why this exists. I don't know why I've got no earthly... The Pure Fusion Collective still a thing?
Allegedly.
I mean...
It's just sort of stopped, isn't it, of late? So I don't know if there's an injury or something kicking around. Weirdly...
Not the Auteur. Not Paul Levesque.
Surely not. And, he hates...
Just abandoning stuff.
We're doing that thing he hates, which is focusing on him. He'd hate this.
Sorry, Paul.
He'd hate this. Oddly, just an aside, in one of the many...
Why did he say that?
Yeah. Well, when Cody said he doesn't want to come out here, he hates it when we mention him. And then the man sets up his own entrance twice a week.
Do you reckon he resents Cody secretly for saying that? Because he's all over the show at the minute. Not all over, but he was in with Randy Orton. He was doing that skit with whatever metro do you know?
Yeah, he's never gone. Never gone.
Do you reckon he was inwardly seething like, Cody, I'm going to look like an asshole the next time I obviously want to come out and play. Time to play the game.
I'm the one using my several burners to try and get the Triple H era over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, even Vince didn't call it the Vince McMahon era.
No, he didn't.
Oh, only just you're a half decent booker, supported by a writing staff. Let's call it I don't know.
Well, do you remember what Cody tried to get going and it just didn't take?
Because he realised that none of them could spell it.
Hey, I like it, but there's a lot of N's and a few more S's than I was ready for. And
the Renaissance era, if you don't know what we're talking about.
I thought we were supposed to be against AI, but if you ask me, there's a couple kicking around in there, and I don't know where to put them.
I'll level with you. I've grown lazy. I reckon 17, 18-year-old me, I could piss spelling Renaissance.
Yeah.
Now I'm at the age where, rather than try it myself, I will just put REN... ESS and just let the little squiggly red line do the rest of the job. Oh, no.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Can the best writer in this space, bar none,
Thank you,
Michael Sidgwick, spell Renaissance?
Oh, man.
It's the spelling bee, as our American friends would have it.
Can I have 2 goals?
You can? Would you want to do that thing where you ask me to use it in a sentence?
Could you use Renaissance in a sentence, please?
The game Triple H, along with Cody Rhodes and Lockstep, ushered in the Renaissance era in World Wrestling Entertainment.
R-E.
Correct.
N.
Correct.
N.
Nope.
Nah. Right. Didn't count.
Life.
Didn't count.
You've got your RE, they're safe.
REN.
Yeah. Andy, did you hear about this one?
That's the wrong letter. REN.
Yeah.
AI.
Yes.
S.
Yes.
SANCE.
Bingo!
Got it in 2.
Got it in 2.
And that's why
I did. Second try.
That's why he's the best in the business. Yeah, so moving on from the pitfalls of the Triple H era, let's be honest, that's what it's called. Yep. We go to something that is I don't know, I'm just going to call it an unqualified success because I think it is, and you are very welcome to disagree. The Wyatt 6, for me, kind of kicked ass again last week. They came out, they beat up the Final Testament. Uncle Howdy wanted to get his hands on The Miz. The Miz bailed. It felt like a write-off, maybe, Paul Ellering last week.
Like a write-off.
Because, like, Karrion Kross is yet again cutting better promos on Twitter. And do you see his piss take this week? Like, I think it was Uncle Howdy's social media account, a Wyatt social media account, uploaded something in, like, backwards writing. And then, like, Karrion Kross just uploaded saying, like, you are effing stupid in, like, half backwards, half upside down writing. Great. Good. He's good.
He's partner, man.
He is partner. Final Testament have said, well, Miz, like, they took one of ours because you bailed. So we either leave you to them or you join us to fight them. It's up to you, pal. So the Miz has got this difficult decision to make. And Final Testament now, well, looking over their shoulders for a potential threat from the Wyatt Six. This plunder match is the next thing the Wyatt Six is going to do, isn't it?
Yeah. They'll probably do a normal one first. And then, as we've already established, that you can't. Usually it provides shortcuts to more limited wrestlers, the old plunder brawl ski. We tried that with the Final Testament and it didn't really work.
No.
Look, the Wyatt Six, EOP, we've established this again last week, are rubbish. Like, they're so plodding and dull, and they were huge beneficiaries of that. Remember when Cody, actually, this is more interesting than this feud. Even the presentation of the Wyatt Six is good. Can you remember? It's just wild. I can already feel myself going in a million tangents here, but it's better than some of the matches we're going to preview. Can you remember when Cody was really getting into the groove in New Japan, and he worked out one of his really cool bits of getting over was to just kind of tell it like it is and throw bombs at the competition.
Yeah.
And just really deadpan everything and just like, oh, God. Well, no one's been this much of a bitch since Eric Bischoff in the 90s, and he's actually really good at it as well.
Do you remember when he went shopping for the Stardust figure?
No.
There's this bit where they're in this Walmart, and he's like, there's the figures on the wall, and the camera starts with a hard zoom on Stardust, and it zooms out, and there's Cody and some of the other guys in the shop. And I'm like, there it is. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. And like, I think the books are there, and they're like, you got to buy it, like old time's sake. It's part of your past, but like, it's like, it's top guy stuff. And Cody's like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to have to buy it. And he leaves to pick it up, and he goes right next to it, and it's a Roman Reigns figure, and he picks it up off the shelf. Like, I can't believe I got this. And they just walk out the store. That's like going for the throat like the top guy in the whole industry.
Yeah.
Because I'm hanging out with indie guys now. I'm cool, actually.
I'm cool, and he's not.
Yeah.
He's not. So he's in this mode where he just decides, I want to just try and shake things up. I love him forever. He's like, so boring. I want to make it interesting. So what he's doing is, I'll tie this back to Authors of Pain in a bit. So he's in this full hubris mode. He kind of senses the momentum is with him and this great story that he's telling alongside the Elite. And he's got the number 2 and number 3 companies across the Pacific and ROH and New Japan at the time, just bending to their whims to just sort of let them get this over because it's just really, really hot. And I think this is when he's feuding with Kenny, and he's in a New Japan press conference, and I don't know if it's just after the turn, but he's definitely feuding with Kenny at the time. And he's like, right, okay, Kenny's white hot. Kenny's the absolute best. What can I say as my character that's kind of puts Kenny down a bit? How can I neg him? I'm the heel. How can I neg him? And he says something to the effect of, if you think about it, Kenny doesn't actually work that many matches. It was quality over quantity. He would like dick around in the t-shirt and stuff, in the some of the undercard tags in New Japan. But like big matches, he would wrestle less frequently than most. Kenny at the time, he's like, right, bang, I can do that. He's like, this one, Kenny's the guy. He works like that, one match a week. I make towns, and then he's like, how can I might have conflated too, but it's funnier.
Yeah.
He's like, how can I bury WWE out of this as well? It's like, I'm not in the Performance Center practicing my match for months ahead of every takeover. I make towns.
It's brilliant.
So you can remember him saying that?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was the same press conference, but he definitely said in a New Japan presser, I can see it now, I'm not practicing my match in the Performance Center for 3 months before I finally do it at TakeOver. I make towns. I actually do shows.
Makes you sad for like the warped version of that they made it to television, which was his last ever AEW promo.
Yeah, I know.
He just meandered and scattered, took out FTR with one bullet and saved another one for CM Punk. With another. What are you doing?
I know.
Like, your head's gone.
So he said that, And then it was like, you just ruined takeover matches for me then. And I think that was maybe when my sort of divorce from NXT was sort of, or the separation before the full divorce. And Authors of Pain were absolutely the beneficiaries of that, looking back in that Largo loop, right? Just kind of if you're working 3 times a week, just work out your sequences that we've done in the ring, that were practiced, and like they would all, if you go back and watch it now, I bet you a lot of it feels very, very rehearsed and contrived and what have you.
I watched the,
it's not the worst system in the world.
No.
To get that out of Authors of Pain, it just did start to reveal itself.
When I watched their NXT run back a couple of years ago, going through all the takeovers, my takeaway with the Authors of Pain were, and this is not a dig really, but they were best in a situation where there was as much movement around them as possible.
Yeah.
Because away from the era, like zero presence,
Yeah.
zero aura. They had there was 2 matches, I think, where they were probably at their peak in NXT, and it was the Shark Cage match against
TM61?
TM61, which just doesn't really hold up.
Yeah.
Like they're flying around, TM61 are flying around trying to make something.
They were never over like with a...
And they weren't quite it.
They weren't it.
And then a couple of takeovers later, you get the kind of famed 3-way.
Yeah, that's still awesome.
Which, again, like DIY and the Revival doing each other's spots because they know each other inside out, and they're like, we've got to take care of these before we can take care of each other. And the whole thing is built around...
It's like the Brock Cena Rollins, but a tag.
Yeah.
And that's
awesome. A great comparison, A proper monster booking, how you get these people over. And it's not that they're doing nothing, it's just they're there for the stuff that's being done to them. And it just doesn't survive an out-of-context viewing because you instead kind of marvel at what works rather than them themselves. And then if you flash forward to like a couple of years later, in 2019, remember when like Seth Rollins revealed himself as a villain in that little van and they were his heavies?
Yeah.
It's just like,
It stunk then.
He's got nobody else around or something.
I've got another take. I knew I was going to go on a tangent. I'll probably repeat this a few times actually because I think it's pretty good. So that has just... unlock the memory of Cody just, WWE stinks. It's synthetic, it's fake. They don't treat the talent correctly. They don't book the talent correctly. Look what I'm doing now. I'm really hot and there was no one there, blah, blah, blah. And then what happens? Forms AEW. Stars for AEW. He's so big in 2019. It even took me surprised. I was like, is Cody bigger than Kenny? That's not the narrative I thought was going on here, but whatever. And then, Cody versus later and he's back in the Fed. CM Punk, go ahead, leave, main event night 4 of a buy 1 get 1 free extravaganza, and when you come back, the ass kicking will still be waiting for you. CM Punk does more than one WWE burial during that time. Yeah. And then what does he do? Goes to WWE. Now, I think like one of the reasons why I bought into AEW is a certain naivety that I had at the time. Maybe I'm not so cynical after all.
I was the stubborn one of the two of us about that mission statement stuff. I didn't like that because
the context was so important back then of Vince isn't like, it just felt inconceivable with that freedom. Like you didn't think the wrestler would want 15,000 fans screaming their name. Isn't 5,000 enough? Evidently not.
Yeah.
Evidently not. They want 15 to 20,000, And you just thought, if you can get, it's one thing to go, right, Ring of Honor or TNA, 1,000 people, I'm a demigod. If I've been wrong, Ring of Honor or something, I'll take a pay cut. I'm probably really well booked in and I've got my adulation. Like AEW just did seem like the complete solution to everything. Loads of money. Hot crowds, yes, 5,000, but they adore you and you can do what you want. I just never thought there'd be like this many jumps back to WWE because I thought Vince would die in the chair.
And there were so many that wouldn't have gone back to work for Vince McMahon.
Well, Cody did. CM Punk
did.
showed his arse on that Ariel Helwani interview because he said, I was nearly going back. Vince was there.
He's talking about like the backstage era, wasn't he? And that just felt like a lie. To be honest. But like, considering
I was close to going back, and now he says like, now he'll invoke Vince's name as I'm glad he's gone, or he'll challenge Drew McIntyre on it. It's like, basically, now that naivety is gone, the carnies are so carnies. I love them all, but the carnies, that naivety is completely gone. If you can't be happy in the unicorn promotion, I don't think you can be happy anywhere as long as you're getting paid the most and you've got the most people screaming your name at you. Like, how can I possibly take seriously? I know Darby's done very well out of all of this to say, I'm AEW, I wouldn't even negotiate with WWE. You might negotiate with this one, to be fair.
Yeah, down the line.
Yeah. Every time they do this raw.
It'd be the ultimate Sting move if you didn't, wouldn't it?
I know.
Like if he becomes every respect.
That would be a lovely little postscript.
Yeah.
But like Garcia, Orange Derby.
Garcia was very nice about it. That bridge isn't burned.
Of course,
by a long
it's not.
chalk, is it?
There's no burned bridges, but that's my broader point here. It's like, I know this is getting into AEW stuff. It's not. It's a nothing run. I think this is quite interesting. Like when you see Garcia, private party, they could go to the Fed. If this gets over and they click, and then contract season comes up in 3 years or whenever it is. I'm sure they're in their 20s. They're underage for WWE right now.
We always disagree on Kenny, but is the Bucks still a thing? You know, if the Elite ever decided to not do their we stay as a 4, we go as a 4 thing.
That's probably still a thing.
Yeah.
Which I think's nice.
I think it's great.
I think it's great.
It's like the closest you get to any kind of union.
Yeah.
At least 4 of them do it.
Yeah.
But like,
it's just I kind of take seriously this raw pro AEW stuff. It's like it worked when Cody just felt like he's taking on them.
Yeah,
what balls? CM Punk, he's come here because he would never go back there.
John Moxley would do it now. If the money was right and the creative was right, he'd take a date. If it was like you get to work X number of dates and you can do a Bloodsport, you'd be back in Bloodsport straight away because we're in with them. Like they'd make an offer good enough to lure him back.
You'd at least think there's a probability, but because the probability exists and has been evidenced by Punk and Cody, whenever these AEW frontline people say, I'm here for AEW and the soul of it, it's like, I don't believe you. Yeah. I can't believe you anymore. Too much has changed since 2019. Too much has changed. And in fact, I think maybe one of my deeper issues is that it makes me feel bad about myself and that old naivety 5 years ago. When I see this, it's like, I don't believe you. You'll go at some point. Everyone does.
Who have we got in the 2025 pool at the moment? Like somebody that would be doing a Ricochet and be willing to go the other way, kind of against the tide of public opinion.
Don't know. Like, you know who's Fightful have got a really good resource for that. They've got like it's not a database, it's a web page, but of all when the contracts are due up.
Okay.
Not all wrestlers are on it.
It's interesting to think, isn't it, about like looking at everybody's spot and how kind of low down. Like the only one that jumps out to me, if you're not a woman in WWE, is Giovanni Vinci. It's like, how low do you have to be to see your spot currently? I think actually it might be worth a go over there. I can because at the moment, such a part of those jumps and those initial kind of I want to go work there instead is like the Raw speech was baked in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not over here anymore. Yeah. Losing the best years of my life. Who could convince him to say that? Now? You can't. You have to
Ricochet to a degree because he was never a fit in WWE. They never wanted him to be him, but then
and even he hasn't really done it.
Kind of indistinguishable, mate. For me, AEW and WWE Ricochet, I just thought that was going to be this huge stylistic transformation. I said they shouldn't have signed him, and I was correct.
Ospreay did it in terms of his contract thing because Triple H was trying to rile him up with that stupid grind comment, and he sort of said something back, but it was very much as part of a contract talk, not I've been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to imagine a wrestler cutting that promo and being able to sell it, isn't it? Now,
still getting to grips with this new world.
Maybe the one that'll make the jump will be a Mr. Mike Mizanin. But I guess we'll see tonight. Never mind picking sides between AEW and WWE. It'll be picking sides between the Wyatt and the Final Testament. And speaking of the Wyatts and the Final Testament, so I would say that kind of like that sort of content between the two is kind of spooky, isn't it?
It kind of, I feel like a bit of a chill in the air. It's quite an unseasonably warm October day, so I don't know why there's a chill in the air. I really don't know why there's a chill in the air.
Probably. Because the Raw Riddle.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, no. Not the Raw Riddle.
I'm scared of it.
Well, I'm terrified of it. Sidge, the Raw Riddle. Actually, for those that you don't know, if you've never watched before, the Raw Riddle is a reason to not just make this your first time, but make you think about your next time. Because we're going to do the Raw Riddle today. I'm going to give Sidge a riddle, give all of you a riddle, and you have but 24 little hours to solve it, where we will reveal the riddle's answer.
It's like one of those things where you can have whatever you want, Can I? Yeah. I have to spend 24 hours in a haunted mansion. It's as scary as that.
Same as that. You have to spend 24 hours with the Raw Riddle, and then you can have anything you want. And that will all be revealed on tomorrow's Raw Review when we pick up what indeed has happened with the Wyatt 6 and Final Testament, or anywhere the Raw Riddle decides to ghost its way.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Yeah, that match will not happen tonight, and they'll build it in some way. I'm sure people will pop for the old theatrics.
A conversation about Halloween I've enjoyed, Sidge, in the office recently, I think on these podcasts as well, is how collectively we would rather have...
Weird riddle.
We would rather have Thanksgiving than Halloween. Yeah? Where are you? Oh, maybe you were still on the spoopy side.
I think I got swayed to Thanksgiving because my thing was I don't want a Christmas ham, and you get the Thanksgiving turkey.
But
I just double turkey.
Yeah.
Second turkey, double turkey, because every time I have a turkey, I was like, bloody hell, wish I could have this more than once a year.
Double turkey. Well, here's a riddle starting with a single turkey, because a rooster, Sidge, not Terry Taylor, is sitting on the roof of a barn facing west.
Oh, God, I hate this. Directions, I'm rubbish.
Well,
say it all again.
A rooster is sitting on the roof of a barn facing west. If it laid an egg, would the egg roll to the north or to the south? I'll read that one more time for the listeners and viewers. A rooster is sitting on the roof of a barn facing west. If it laid an egg, would the egg roll to the north or to the south? And that is the raw.
I'll try to cue up the next thing that we need the button for. You know what I'm doing, don't you?
The Raw Riddle.
The Raw Riddle gives me the creeps.
I'll let you cue that up thing again, because we'll do that last, because that's the most fun. One more thing before we get to the fun thing at the end. There's a number one contenders tag team tournament final tonight. The Smackdown one went well, so maybe we should have high hopes for this. But it's the New Day versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus the War Raiders in a triple threat. Look, the match will be a wrestling match featuring all those 6 guys. You know exactly what it looks like. You could map it out. You could map it out in your sleep, but the spots will be nice. But I think there's some
I think, you know that Eric... I'm going to be nice about this, bro.
Okay. All right, bro. What you got?
I think you know Eric Nee that I love where he goes, in the face. He could do that to Ray. Mm-hmm. Do you think this match is going to break down at any point?
I think it might. I think it might break down.
I think it might break down.
You know when he says all breaks down, do you think of placebo when he says that? Every time. Yeah. Every single time it says it all breaks down.
Every time I think of placebo, I used to read Kerrang magazine.
Mm-hmm. They did not like Brian Molko, did they?
They did not like Brian Molko.
They had like a bad interview with him once or something.
I don't know, but you know when they would always have the same at the back page of Kerrang? They'd always have the same, like, interviews and like the same questions, but for a different rock star. You know what? I'm not going to go into it on this podcast, but you just had the most pretentious, I'm actually really cool answer ever. I'll tell you about it.
I think that must have been rooted in Vendetta, because it definitely felt for years like there was it was like the Kerrang version of Peter Robinson versus in the NME.
Yes.
We'd always get those, and it somehow would just pull these incredible quotes out of these musicians. Yeah.
What's that talking about?
The War Raiders.
It's all going to break down.
Yeah.
So Eric, it's all breaking down. So both War Raiders are in the ring. So are Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. The New Day are on the outside when this is going on, selling. Rey Mysterio, Eric, does the knee to the face. Boof. In the face. Targets Dragon Lee. Tries it again. But you know that, like, Osprey bump, kip up. The bump.
Yes.
Tease, feint. Yep. The feint bump. And then he does the kick up. Mm-hmm. And then Dragon Lee can go to kick someone in the face, but sorry, lariat from Ivan, you've been turned upside down. I should have that. That might be exciting. I know it's a Raw match.
I don't know. I kind of like that the New Day might win, and all of Xavier Woods' bad behaviour of late is actually kind of rewarded in the form of a title shot, which is keeping them together. Last week's dissension was Kofi Kingston trying to help R-Truth, but Woods holding him back, saying, this is not our fight. So, and then R-Truth put something online, because I care about these people, where like he'd seen Xavier Woods in a gym.
Bad enough watching him on telly, on his Twitter.
I just like to keep abreast of all these characters. Like, he saw him in the gym, and he had he was really resentful of him. Like, Xavier Woods is claiming ignorance and saying, look, we've got our own business to take care of. But I think the New Day winning is the most interesting outcome here, because them getting a title shot would at least let Xavier Woods could believe in his head, I've been a successful quarterback. Look, we've won the tournament. We're going to get a title shot. They might even win. They might beat the Judgment Day, but you could set the tag team title match. We'll talk about them just briefly in a second, by the way. No, not for a lot. It's just take the piss of it.
Okay.
they could set the New Day getting a tag title shot on the day of that 10th anniversary of the stable around, and Big E could be coming back to watch and cheer on the guys and all that kind of thing. I
suppose there's some drama in Xavier Woods cheating 1, 2, and Kofi going, not like that.
Yeah,
not like that, mate.
He had he was cheated against Rey Mysterio, so there's that.
Yeah,
like Rey kind of doesn't. He pulled his mask, didn't he? So Rey doesn't really like him.
I will say it's refreshing.
Intra-match drama
going on, this podcast instead of like on Wednesday and going, who's on the show? Well, someone I'm not seeing in 4 weeks or whatever.
And on that
that's
point,
a bit rich saying Dragon Lee's in this match, but generally,
on that,
I want to go back into a world. Not this one, a good one.
The War Raiders have just come back into this world, so there is a chance they could win because that's just happened with the Motor City Machine Guns. Just arrived, immediately get a title shot.
You could just pin Ray. They beat him like a drum.
Yeah, Ray could get pinned. Just quickly on the Judgment Day, and I think this isn't. I like to be fair.
George and Andrew. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's just maybe we haven't got the fan.
It's very warm.
It's unseasonably warm today. I've got my shorts back on.
Unseasonably George and Andrew.
Michaels and Ridgely. I like that as well. I just like that warm thing. It really popped me the first time we did that.
It's my dad's joke.
It's a good one.
It's when we first went to Florida, he dropped it on us.
It's George and Andrew.
I think he's just waiting to go somewhere on hot and holiday. He could finally say it to us. And my dad's one of those Geordies who's like ridiculously thick Geordie accent. He says "fower" unironically.
Right.
He says "fower" unironically. Lowy for like a pay. I used to get some decent Lowy at the shipyards.
Lowy. I don't think I've heard Lowy before. And northeast buns. I like to think of myself
Claire's
for clothes. Yeah. That was that's the Ashington, very Northumberland. We're going to go niche for just a second. That's the very Northumberland joke, isn't it? Like from the 70s. Kevin Keegan goes into the barbers in Ashington and asks for a perm, and the barber says, "I wounded Lanely as a clinic." That's what you were, Northeast listeners. We know there's 10 years. The Judgment Day, it sucks, right? It's bad. It's bad now. And it's my favourite thing. Blooms off the rose. It is. There's little moments that I do quite like, but for the most part, to that point, were you even aware that the WWE World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, whatever those belts they have on Raw are called, worked an OTT show last night? It was like the OTT anniversary show. And Finn Balor and
JD
McDonough worked the show.
I had no idea.
I don't know if they won or lost. Probably did the lights purple. That's wild, isn't it? Like, these belts have been kind of like left out to pasture here on Raw. Yeah. If you contrast what you were able to get away with in the SmackDown main event versus any chance of this headline in this Raw, like, they're miles apart, aren't they?
Yeah.
Something should be done. Like, I want this tag triple threat to actually generate a team that could win these belts.
Anyone could win them.
It's the Jay and Sammy.
That's the message I'm getting genuinely by the neglect and how much it's just like they're not a prize worth vying for and nothing.
I just don't think it's on, and I'm glad we got to it.
I don't care.
Right. Last thing to talk about today. Main event time with the preview. Dominik Mysterio last week was looking for a shot at the belt, and Adam Pearce said that he would, if he could beat a former world champion, then he would at least be able to put himself in contention. No guarantees, but very much like, you know how WWE uses rankings but doesn't use rankings. Kevin Owens said he didn't feel like he was worthy and all that sort of thing. This is what they're doing here. So Dominik Mysterio is fighting a former world champion now. Either he fights the former world champion and gets his ass kicked, and it actually props up that returning person or this mystery guy or whatever, or Dominik actually beats the former champion because the former champion's a little bit past his best, and Dominik gets on the road to Gunther.
Well, we're going to play a little game here, right? I get the feeling it's not going to be an AEW adjacent, peak AEW adjacent surprise. Like, when you think, how did this deal come about? Or how's this wrestler still in such great condition? And they're working Dynamite. That sort of surreal AEW magic, I guess. Oh, Shabazz still looks decent, that kind of thing. Or, you know, bloody hell, Nagata can still go when he wants, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be any bull from the blue like, I mean, the Ziggler Association, maybe,
through
something through TNA, something like that. Before we play the game, I think they usually advertise this bloke's appearances because he's so over, and I think he might be the biggest draw in wrestling. Genuinely, now that SmackDown shifted to Fridays on cable, and Raw outdraws it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a day thing rather than a true reflection of which stars and etc. You see it's CM Punk, basically, my pitch.
I was thinking the Punker or Drew.
Yeah.
One of them is the first one to
Yeah.
return from the war and gets this. Adam Pearce is like, you can have your shot.
Yeah.
You've kind of got to take on this little creep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it's that... Do you see the bad blood start?
Yeah. Linear purchases.
Yeah.
It's the best. Like, that Drew SummerSlam or something.
Yeah.
God damn.
God damn.
I mean,
CM
it was-
Punk's a draw.
With people that are still willing to drop 50
Yeah, I mean,
pounds
that's
on,
insane. You know what? Is it...
I'm sure it didn't melt.
Is it insane, or are some people's broadband providers so piss poor that you'd rather pay money and just have the peace of mind and not seeing that stupid bastard circle buffer around,
it's
even though
annoying.
you've been reliably informed that your internet's been fixed once and for all, and it just regresses? And it's worrying that it's regressed because you've got a few days to yourself, actually, and you're only using one device. What's it going to be like when everyone comes back into the home
You don't need one.
and there's... No, man. Kids on the bloody tablets, man.
Oh, when you get back.
I want them bedlam.
I thought you meant on your own.
God
Todd.
damn it. So I defend the $50 buyers.
And he's the draw guy at the moment, isn't he? So like, if you've got the bad blood thing, it's a quarter hour every single time, and that's to your point why they would maybe advertise him.
What if they like heavily tease it first? Like Dominik can do a show long storyline,
Yeah.
where it's like, I need to find out. I need to prep. How can I? This isn't fair. I need to prep. And then Adam Pearce could say something like, well, you know, maybe...
Look in my eyes. I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Yes,
And
that
a
sort of
yeah,
thing.
little tease
Thank
along
you.
the way.
Thank you.
Like, he's, I need a drink. And then he reaches one, but it's a Pepsi rather than a beer.
Yeah, and he can get some sponsorship ski.
Very nice. And Punk Gunther was rumoured for Survivor Series season.
And you only got to do it once and not on telly. Punk likes Dominik.
Yes, they had that Madison Square Garden match, didn't they? Yeah. I'd love that. There was...
Has he wrestled on Raw?
No, not yet.
I think they'd surely advertise that.
There was whispers that...
I reckon Drew's failing upwards, really.
I think it could be Drew, yeah.
Yeah.
There was whispers that Punk might get involved at Halloween Havoc. He didn't, obviously. Review coming soon. With it because of the Ethan Page spot from Chicago NXT, because he might fancy working the ECW arena, and that's not wild, I suppose. But then obviously he hasn't turned up, so it does feel like the Punker is back at large, doesn't it? He's going to be back in play.
Aye, but then maybe he just wants to get out of... I know things... It's a different model now where it's not like every main pushed wrestler does something on the PLEs. It's like the 5 matches, so maybe Punk can be at large during Saudi season, but you get the feeling... Well, we've all seen the Miz tweet. You get the feeling he doesn't want to.
He's going to put it off as long as he can, but that day's going to come for him.
If he wants to be a champion, he's probably going to have to.
So if it's not Punk or Drew or obvious purple herring, Damian Priest, then Sidge, who could it possibly be?
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
Which former world champion will Dominik Mysterio face tonight? I have in front of me the lists, as collated by Wikipedia, of both the WWE and World Heavyweight from like the Big Gold era champions, and I will scroll up and down for WWE first of all, where we'll do Pro Evo rules.
Why don't we do a shootout?
Shootout, yeah. So we'll have a WWE and a World, and then it can be one or the other. I'll let you choose.
I might flip a coin.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're doing. 2 randoms and a coin flip. I love it. Right, so we'll do WWE first.
Scrolling?
Yep, scrolling.
Stop.
1, 2, 3, 4. Between 1 and 5.
4.
This man has just kind of re-entered the wider pro wrestling conversation.
Is it JBL?
It is not, but you're kind of close via Maple Leaf Wrestling. It's Jinder Mahal, who, of course, has had a world title shot this year.
Yeah.
Do not Triple H will make weird Jinder Mahal decisions to make petty points.
Yes.
Are you wanting to stick or twist?
Oh, stick.
Oh my God. So it's going to be Jinder Mahal against
I want to get a Halloween Havoc.
a former world
I'll
title.
go home and see my cat.
Yeah, that's okay. Right, I am scrolling. It's as much short
Stop.
a list. Pick between 1 and 6.
4.
Oh, yeah. Sidge, you have to choose. Really think hard about this one, right? Who would win in a shootout match between your chosen WWE champion, Jinder Mahal, and your chosen World Heavyweight Champion to fight Dominik Mysterio on tonight's Raw, in Mr. Daniel Bryan?
Oh God. I want to see him back.
He's going to be.
I want to see him back, you know.
Yes. So
Why not?
Is
See
Bryan,
what it looks like.
Is Bryan going to be heads, and Jinder can be tails?
Ooh, 50's not a good flipper.
He's always said that. Here we go. If you're listening, you should be watching. This is why I get on YouTube as well. Do both. Double up. You get to see
Try and do
conflict.
it close to the microphone so the listeners can get something out of that flip. Pressure on the flip.
Tails for Jinder.
Tails for Jinder. Rubbish flip. I'm doing it again.
Oh, I thought it was a good one.
Nah, you want it to rotate loads in the air like this? Watch. Bah. No. That was a
That's
flip.
the one.
Boom. Third time lucky. It's Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal. Bryan Danielson stays put in that big BCC angle. It'd be kind of weird if he turned up on Raw, but it would have been cool. Nonetheless, we don't get Daniel Bryan versus Dominik Mysterio right now. Give it a couple of years and keep your fingers crossed. It's going to be Jinder Mahal versus Dominik Mysterio in Jinder's second weird world title adjacent booking of 2024.
Yes.
Who do you think it's going to be? In the time it takes, there's like 6-7 hours to make your mind up, but let us know on Twitter, where you can get all of us at WhatCulture WWE, and you can get Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
You can get myself at Michael Hamflett, and until next time, we will see you soon.